Now stay close. Stay close. I know. Do exactly as I say. Get ready. Ready? Get her!
9 for mortal men doomed to die.
When there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Someone with magic weapons at the very least. Hello and welcome to the D6 Damage DM's Guide to Ghosts. A ghost can mess up a party. Just no lie. They are one of the most difficult to handle creatures in the bestiaries because they can just say no to so many things that a party will typically try to do to an enemy unit. But first off, in the very broadest strokes, what's a ghost? And I am talking about ghosts specifically. Not shadows, not specters, just straight up ghost. The ghost is the spirit of a mortal who died in some way that left unfinished business and they're still kind of hanging around. This is entirely up to you as a DM. You can say that this ghost actually is the spirit or soul of that person, or you can say that the ghost is more like a memory or an impression of that person. That's typically the version I go with, but your mileage may vary on that. Now let's get into what makes the ghost such a difficult enemy for player characters to handle, starting with their defensive traits. First off, they get the traits that any undead creature has. They're immune to disease, mind effects, such as charm, compulsion, morale effects, figments, and patterns. They're immune to paralysis, sleep, stun, anything that requires a fort save, non-lethal damage, and fatigue. Now, if that wasn't enough, ghosts are this little thing we call incorporeal. That means they don't have a body. It's like they're not even there, but they are. Oh god, they are there. An incorporeal creature is immune to non-magical forms of damage. The big burly fighter can wave his non-magical sword around all he wants. It's not gonna do a thing. Okay, so you have a +1 magic sword. Good job. That will do a grand total of half damage. But don't worry, the party has a wizard. He'll throw some fireballs and lightning bolts and stuff. And that'll also do a grand total of half damage. Also, spell effects that don't cause damage have a 50% chance of affecting the incorporeal creature. So, what you're going to want are things like holy water. Even though it's a corporeal object, it still does full damage. Channeling positive energy is also very helpful, and those lovely force spells like magic missile. Smart, well-financed players will usually try and pick themselves up a ghost touch weapon. This affects incorporeal creatures normally. Incorporeal creatures do not have natural armor bonuses. They get a deflection bonus equal to their charisma modifier, and that's always +1, even if their charisma score would not normally allow it. An incorporeal creature can pass through a solid object. So, no door, no problem. In addition, incorporeal things can strike from within an object. However, if they're doing it, the thing they're trying to hit has full concealment. An attacking incorporeal creature from inside an object is treated as having cover, that's +4 to AC. When an incorporeal creature is inside of an object, it has full cover. However, an incorporeal creature cannot pass through a force effect, so that cube of force can be really good to have. Ghost can't get you in there. Incorporeal creatures ignore natural armor bonuses, and shield bonuses. However, force effects like mage armor work normally. Incorporeal creatures function equally well in water and air. So, matey, if you're considering throwing pirate ghosts at your party, if the party tries to swim away, the ghosts can just fly underwater and continue fighting. Incorporeal creatures cannot fall. Also, incorporeal creatures cannot grapple or trip, nor can they be grappled or tripped. So, Mr. Monk, even though your punches have ghost touch, you still can't grapple the ghost. Just punch it though. That's really impressive by itself. Finally, because a ghost or any incorporeal creature does not have a body, it is not subject to critical hits or sneak attacks. So, taking all of those defensive abilities into consideration, even if your party manages to defeat the ghost, I have some bad news. Ghosts have a little thing called Rejuvenation. When a ghost is destroyed in combat, it will rejuvenate in 2d4 days. So, if the ghost of Old Lady Cavendish is still hanging around her palatial mansion, you're going to have to find out exactly why if you want the house to yourself. Finally, ghosts have access to a whole bunch of special attacks that include but are not limited to the following list. First up, there's Corrupting Gaze. The ghost has a gaze attack that deals 2d10 damage and 1d4 charisma damage. A fortitude save negates the charisma damage, but not the physical damage. Now, pretty much all ghosts will have Corrupting Touch. This does a d6 of damage equal to their CR. This damage is treated as supernatural aging, so creatures that are immune to magical aging are unharmed. This attack bypasses all DR, and a fortitude save will half. It's also possible that a ghost could have Draining Touch. Draining Touch deals 1d4 ability drain. This cannot be healed normally, and has to be healed magically. And as the DM, you get to pick which ability gets drained. Needless to say, this can incapacitate certain characters very, very quickly. In addition, if the ghost succeeds a Draining Touch attack, it heals 5 points of damage to itself. Then there's Malevolence. This allows a ghost to possess a living creature as Magic Jar. At caster level 10, that means they have them for 10 hours. This is a standard action for the ghost to perform. So, with the possibility of party members and NPCs getting possessed, that means that your low will save characters are going to need to be very careful. Finally, it's possible for a ghost to have telekenesis. They can throw objects or creatures up to 300 pounds. If a hard or sturdy object hits a player, it will do 1d6 point of damage per 25 pounds of its weight. As an example, a water clock weighs 200 pounds. That's 8d6. So when Farmer Maggot tells the party that there's a poltergeist at the water clock factory, well, they best bring some healing potions. So, when you actually sit down to create your ghost, it's a template. And in terms of actual stat changes, the ghost is fairly simple. The base creature will lose its strength and constitution scores and get +4 to charisma. This will increase its deflection bonus to AC. Okay, finally, I want to leave you with some inspiration for your next haunted D&D adventure. Or at least I would like to. The issue is, there's just so much that has to do with ghosts and hauntings out there, it's really kind of hard to narrow it down. I would say, think carefully about the tone of your adventure. If you want an actual horror-themed game, there are certainly no shortage of movies for you to go to. Movies like The Amityville Horror, Poltergeist, The Conjuring, Sinister, and Paranormal Activity, even though that wasn't a ghost, per se, it's still really similar. If you're going for something a little more spirited and whimsical, think about things like Ghostbusters, A Christmas Carol, Lord of the Rings with the Ghost Army, Danny Phantom, or Beetlejuice. There have also been a lot of video games that deal with ghosts and hauntings and that sort of thing, like Fear. I mean, the first Fear, not the second one or the third one, although the 2 expansion packs, Fear Perseus Mandate and Fear Extraction Point, are pretty good. I recommend those. One of my favorite underrated GameCube games, Geist, where you actually played as a ghost, that was really cool. The ghosts in Elder Scrolls will mess you up. And the Condemned series, even though those aren't really ghosts, they get the atmospheric qualities of a haunting across really well in that game. Thank you for watching D6 Damage. If you're interested in more character builds and class analysis guides for Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons, check us out right here on YouTube.